Okay, good morning, everyone. I am here to talk about year-round stewardship, even though it's only May, but especially because it's only May. So we have chosen our theme for the year. It is Understand Your Why. If you were with us last year, you know our theme was Know Your Why, when we asked people to tell us what brings them to the church, to Ascension and Holy Trinity, and what keeps them here. This year, we're going to ask you to go a little deeper into that why, to understand how it affects your spiritual growth and your gifts of your treasure, time, and talent to the church. Apologies, choir, you're not going to get to see my great stick figure artwork, but there is a picture in the bulletin, the second last page, that shows what I'm going to illustrate here. So we're asking you to think of your spiritual growth as a journey, a nice hike in the woods, right? You have some trees, and maybe some flowers. You're in a meadow, perhaps. I guess the acolytes can't see my great artwork either. Well, it'll be up. It'll be up later. Okay. So think of it as a nice walk through the woods. And how do you get started on that walk? Well, the first thing you do is walk into the church. And if you, like me, are not a cradle Episcopalian, you might remember that first visit to church very well. Here you are. And you're a little uncertain. What is going to happen to me when I walk in there? But you came because you're in search of something bigger than yourself. You want to improve your prayer life, and that's something those things are things that our church can offer. So you come to church, you take that first step on the path, and you come back again. You keep coming back. Maybe you like Father Eric's sermons, maybe you met some nice people at coffee hour, but you come back. And when you're in church before, you weren't really thinking about giving, but now you see the collection plate being passed, and you throw something in because you're almost like a customer. Let's see if I can do this. You're like a customer. You come to church, you like what you see, and you put a little into the collection plate to reflect your gratitude. Well, this is great. You're with us. We're happy to see you. Now, as you come back, you get more involved. Maybe you sign your kids up for Sunday school, or you participate in a family outreach activity, and you get to like things enough that you decide to become a member. Wow, are we thrilled when that happens? So here you are down here. Oh, let's see, where can I put my head? All right, you're a member now. A little happier. And now when the collection plate comes along, or actually even when the stewardship drive comes along, you understand this as similar to other things in your life that you are a member of, organizations, clubs. You recognize that you need to pay your dues. So you make your first stewardship pledge, and we're really pleased about that. And you keep coming back to church, and you become more and more involved. Perhaps you join the work of a commission. And now you are kind of like a patron of the church. You are a participant in activities, and you also you help with our stewardship drives. In fact, after a time, you see this as you become more involved, you see what our church does well, you see what some of our limitations are, where we could do more if we had more. So now you start to think of your giving as paying your dues. And this is both respect to your gifts of treasure as well as your gifts of time and talent, that you want to do your fair share. And you can calculate fair share any way you want, but you start to see yourself as wanting to do your fair share for the church. And so this is great. Now comes a time that some of us get to, and some of us are still striving to on this path. We come to a wall. Those of you who like to rock climb. We come to a wall, and getting over that wall requires a big effort. It requires a transformation. And for people who experience this transformation, It's the difference between giving of your treasure, time, and talent because the church needs it, which is an external motivator, to giving of your treasure, time, and talent because you know it is what you need to do in your heart to follow God, to improve your relationship with God. So that's an internal motivator, and that's a really big thing. This is a conversion. People who get over this wall have a conversion. And it is a wonderful thing for them. They come up here on the path, and they are very happy people. All right, they're not going to quite be on the path. This gets worse every time I do it. Okay, but when you make that conversion, you first of all, you look for leadership opportunities. Maybe you run for vestry, maybe you chair a commission, but the church's success is your success. It's internal. And you are now really a partner with the church. You graduated from patron, you're a partner. And as a partner, you may consider your gifts of treasure, you may consider tithing. Tithing, of course, is giving 10% of your income, which is a really big number, and consider it spread among not only the church, but also other charitable groups in the community. So when we ask you to tithe, we almost ask you more to make a commitment to tithe. We know that nobody's going to write a check for 10% the very next day, but we ask you to think about how you might get there on a path to tithing. And we recognize that, like with any journey, there are steps forward, there are steps back. There are going to be years that you can't keep your tithe commitment, maybe for happy reasons, like you have kids in college, or maybe for less happy reasons, like you have medical expenses. But you still commit to trying to move forward in the path. And in the end, that's what we all want to do. We want to keep moving. We want to keep hopefully getting up to the sun, being a little stick figure that disappears here into the distance. But we want you to know we are delighted to have you in church wherever you are on the path. We ask you to think about where you are on the path and think about continuing to move forward. That's all we ask. And you are part of our family. We are part of your family. And we are thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for your attention.